The housing market correction just started. Welcome to Housing Data Nerds. This is where we break down some data so you know where you're at with the housing market nationally and where we're heading so you can pay attention what you need to do next. I have 4 different charts that I want to show you. We're going to go through some graphs so you better understand nationally where we were, where we're heading. Yes, we're seeing a lot more inventory, which is going to create a challenge in some of these areas. Texas, Florida, you're already seeing that challenge. Prices are going down, and now new construction is even coming in significantly lower in price. So that's creating a whole different problem as well. Let's start with this though. I've got this great chart for you that we want to go over. You see at the top, it says active housing inventory for sale compared to pre-pandemic levels. The shift is between 2019 and 2025. We're looking at May specifically. Now, if we take a look at this, we want to see this practically 6-year span. And you see over this time period, the negative is where properties or inventory is still lower. The positive is that it's higher. So we're looking at 2019, right before 2020's big pandemic hit and we had a boost of everything. You want to take a look at the darker green areas. The darker green areas, and you could see here, you can zoom in there. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. But for now, just let me hover. Texas has gone from 94,000 in 2017 to 131,000 homes. That's a 30% year over year increase. And so what we're looking at is the darker green areas. You've got 2 super dark green areas in the 30s, and then you've got the lighter ones, right, which is Texas. Their inventory is always larger, right, 140,000, now up to 181,000. But you see now, as you're looking at this map in a 5-6 year change, you're really looking at where are we still lacking inventory, because those areas, for the most part, are also still rising in prices. And that tells you the different story here, because you've got the dark brown areas. Let's just randomly pick one. We've got New York. Let's go to Connecticut, because I know Connecticut's going a little crazy. Might be the hottest place. Let me see, 73. Yeah, it could be. Look at the shift. Inventory, May 2017, 19,302 homes. And look how crazy this is. Currently, May 2025, yeah, we're in June, but May 2025, 4,524. It's going the opposite way. Now, to get a clearer picture, I want you to get the 1-year change, right? Because it's important to take a look at the 5-6 year change and where the country's going, and you break down certain areas. But you want to see what's actually happening now. You've got to take a look at what's happened in the last 12 months. And we're going to get closer and closer until we get to where we're at now and then where we're going. And I think that's the important piece, because you need to pay attention where you're going so you know what to do, right? Should I buy? Should I wait? What am I going to be doing? Well, let's take a look at the 1-year change. If we take a look at the 1-year change in inventory, this is changing a little bit. Like, this tells you a slightly different story, because now I have to take a look at the darker green areas, and I'm taking a look at California. And in a year, we've gone from, look at May 2024, you may not be able to read that, but it's 48,586. And then all of a sudden, it went to 73,000. So a lot more properties on the market. But you still have a different story in California, because according to the overall look, it's still a place that's demanding. I know in the crazy prices, it's still demanding inventory. It's like, we still need more. We still need more. But you take a look at a place like Nevada, which has grown dramatically. In fact, a little bit more than California. That's a different story, because when you look at Las Vegas has now got a lot of inventory. And prices are starting to come down slowly. We're seeing price cuts, more price cuts. So pay attention to these numbers. 1 year makes a difference. And you see now Texas, you see Florida, they've already gone through a lot of this. Now they just need to get rid of that new inventory from that construction, the new construction. And all of a sudden, you may start seeing that slow down. We're still seeing price reductions. We're still seeing price cuts. We're still seeing concessions given back by the sellers and by new construction. So we're still seeing that. But this tells a slightly different story of maybe where we need to be paying attention to next, the darker green areas, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. We've got Colorado, believe it or not, Nevada, and parts of California. The challenge is it bundles everything up, so you don't know exactly where to look for. This is why I always say, go local, go local. Now, let's shift a little bit because some of you may have heard the lock-in effect. And let me explain to you what the lock-in effect is, just in case you weren't aware of it. During the pandemic, what happened is that the rates were so low, a lot of the people who owned a home refied into 2.5%, 3% mortgages. And those that were buying bought with incredibly low mortgage rates. And so what happened is now when they take a look at where mortgage rates are at, high 6s, 7s, most of them are saying, why am I going to move? My payment's like double and a half. But what we're seeing now is that some of these sellers are saying, hey, you know what? I just can't wait anymore. I don't know that I even want to wait. It's time to move. So people are getting accustomed to this. And you take a look at this graph right in the middle. You're looking at the black one. Look at the legend here. It says, is the lock-in effect easing? You got 2025, and that bar starting to grow. What you're looking at, what you need to look at is this lighter shade of brown 2022 and this mustardy color 2023 and this light yellow 2024. And now you're seeing it went from 2022 being high, now dropping. This is May, dropping, going up and going up. That means the inventory is finally releasing nationally. Now this is a national thing, right? The inventory is creeping up slowly. You can take a look at the curve. It may ease out a little bit here, but it's still going to be higher than the previous 2 years. What that means is now people are getting more accustomed to this. If everything continues the way it is, next year, that line's going to be a little bit higher. And so we start looking at more inventory. And what does that mean when you start getting more inventory? It's not selling, it's sitting there. Prices come down, but here's where it gets a little fun. Because we're going to take a look at a graph right here, multiple graphs, just to show you active housing inventory for sale by month. Like, let's take a look at this and see where we're really at, because this gives you a clear picture of what all of these different states look like and which ones you should really be paying attention to. Take a look at this. We've got Colorado, which we mentioned, right? And as I scroll through this, you're going to take a look at the years at the bottom. You see June 2019. You got now August 2020, February 2022. So I'm going to scroll through them like that. The numbers at the top that are going up or down, that's the inventory per month. Okay. Now you do see some things that are normal, right? You see a dip. Why? Because in the winter, there's always a dip, right? Inventory is less. People don't want to sell when it's frozen, or people don't want to sell during those times, during the holidays. They usually wait until summer and spring. So inventory always goes up. But we have to watch the overall graph. If we take a look at Colorado, where I showed you year over year, Colorado was rising just specifically last year, something we have to be paying attention to, right? Let's go back here and now take a look. We go all the way back to 2017 and we take a look at June-ish on the rise. And we scroll all the way over here. We're in May 2025. Look at that. It's going up. So inventory is going up. It looks like it's even higher than it was at 2019. Definitely 2018. Definitely 2017. And now if our inventory is much higher than those years and months, that means that we may have an issue there, right? You may start seeing prices come down. If that inventory doesn't come, prices will come down a bit faster. Same with Texas. Look at Texas. You've got inventory that's higher than before, right? And now Florida. Florida is definitely a lot more clear. Massive dip during COVID, right? As everybody wanted to move there. and then it spikes all the way up. Very similar to Texas, right? The green ones are the ones you're looking at that have a higher inventory or slightly higher than 2019, right? Now, we're going to scroll down to take a look at the more mustard color. And the more mustard color, we're looking at markets that are more even or going down, right? So let's just take a look at these markets: Colorado, Texas, Florida, Washington, Tennessee, Arizona, Idaho, Utah, Hawaii, Oregon. Those are the ones that we're taking a look at and saying that inventory is higher than 2019 now. But we take a look at the mustardy ones. You can take a look at where prices are probably still going up. And I showed you earlier in that map, places like New Jersey, I showed you Connecticut for sure, and you could see that prices there, why they're still going up fast. As I'm scrolling down, let's just take a look at some random places that have low numbers of inventory, okay? New York. It's always a surprise when I show this to people, but New York, you went from, what is this, 65,000 available, the regular up and down, nothing crazy, and all of a sudden, inventory starts going down, right? The demand's still there. Demand is still there. Demand is still there. Look at this. 31,000, 35,000. But what happens is it's the summer. Oh, well, we're heading into summer. And the demand is still there. So of course prices are going to be going up, right? So you have to identify areas that not only have lower inventory, but also have the demand. And Connecticut is one of those. Look at Connecticut. It's just dry. There's no listings. No wonder things sell so fast. Like they sell in a day in some areas. A day. Now, you go back and you start seeing this and you're like, got it. I understand housing data nerds. I understand why it's like this. You're going to start seeing prices go further down in places that are green. And if you need any of this, just let me know. I'll send it over to you. But when you look at this, you have to be really careful where you're at and where you're looking to purchase. Because if the demand is still there a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and it's not always easy to tell, right? This is why it's a guessing game, and I love looking at data to show you where we're at and where we're heading just in the next few months. It really creates a clearer picture for what you want to do. So do I think prices will drop more in Florida and Texas? Yes. Where we have to be careful is Colorado, what's happening there. Nevada, parts of Nevada, Las Vegas, prices are going down. Let's take a look what happens in the next few months. A lot of this will have to do with unemployment, which is pretty even right now. It's not doing bad. And then the mortgage rates, how are those doing? Are they going to stay stuck in the 7s, high 6s? There's a lot of questions that we'll keep on answering throughout all these videos that we do. Just do me a favor, share this with somebody that may benefit from this information, and subscribe and turn on that little bell. Have an awesome day.